I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the share, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
It's Dreme, and we got a season 2. Your Black Bostonian here, a product of a single mother who I work to make proud every single day. I'm a 3-degree holder, your veteran educator, your tech entrepreneur, and founder of the Chair platform. My platform is dedicated to supporting Black and Brown people on their hair journey by creating hairboards, connecting to hairstylists, and sharing haircare tips for a more joyous experience. My podcast is about sharing hair stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and stories surrounding identity with goals to leave you laughing, learning, and advocating. So come in and listen to the stories in the chair.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Mitch. Mitch, can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, what up, beautiful people out there? I'm Mitch Gaines. That's Gaines with a Y because I'm a little bit gay. No E because we stopped doing E in the 90s. I am I don't even know what to call myself at this point, a multi-hyphenate, multidisciplinary millennial. I'm currently, I guess, a basketball coach and youth mentor and basketball referee. Before that, I was a graphic designer. I did some communications writing. I worked in software startups, professional sports. I hosted a podcast of my own. I was a political organizer, professionally and non-professionally. So I've worn a lot of hats over the years. But I'm just Mitch, I guess, at the end of the day. I hadn't achieved enough to credential myself in traditionalism. Hadn't gotten that college degree yet. Hadn't even gotten that high school diploma yet. Hadn't gotten that driver's license yet. And all these trade hallmarks of traditional masculinity. But now I'm a home owning, landlording, car owning man, right? So I can have a ponytail and wear a pink shirt. Fuck you gonna say? You know what I mean? Come on over to my 8-car driveway and 2-car garage. Let me show you my lawn. Now, do I mow my lawn? No, my wife does because she likes to take care of the outside, and I'm an indoor cat, and I do the dishes and cook. But whatever. You don't get to question my masculinity now, right? I'm a man, and so that's. I think that era of my life was a lot of me figuring out how to straddle that line of I don't want to be one of them. I've tried for a long time, and I have been really let down by what masculinity has to offer me as a man. I cannot believe the things that it values versus the things it would give up to uphold those values. And so at every turn, I have tried my best to be a different type of man, and that has had varying consequences, but very, very few of them have been positive with other men. Many of them have been positive generally for my life and my health and my social relationships and with women in my life. But with men particularly, it has been really challenging to me to maintain lasting friendships and bonds, not because that they are bad people, but because they just are trapped in their masculinity and that they won't communicate about their emotions. They won't be there when you reach out and be hey man, I'm kind of going through some shit. They're not the friends who are going to next be what shit, right? They're just going to say, sorry, bro, and keep it put. And there's nothing wrong. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just masculinity. It is what it is. I accept that. What I can't accept is that most men can't even articulate that that's what it is. They can't even articulate, I don't know how to be there for you. I'm sorry you're going through this. I don't know how to be there for you. I don't know how to be the kind of friend that you need right now. I've never had that kind of man in my life, so I don't know how to be that for you. Will you teach me? Will you ask me? Will you tell me? Will you articulate to me? Most men can't do that. And I can. And when I've asked other people to do it, the only people willing to reciprocate that in my life have been women. And it's how I've lost most of my male friendships, is simply by asking, will you be there for me in this way? Will you have a conversation with me about how I feel? Will you care about me in a way that feels like care to me?
Do you have a few male friends now?
Yes, but they're not as close as I'd like them to be. And a lot of that's on me. I had a close group of male friends most of my 20s. So like after we get out of the short hair years, I guess, around the time I start my locks, I had like 3 really close friends and a couple of tangential friends to that group. And like a couple of us lived together. The 3 of them lived together when I met them. 2 of them lived with me after that for a while. So like we were all tangentially roommates for a period of time. But a lot of it was just like, and I still like, you can hear it in my voice, I'm sure if you're listening to this, like, I'm sad about it, man. Like I miss those friendships. Like I miss having buddies to watch the game with and like have a beer. Like I miss having people to talk about golf when I want to go play golf and talk about golf. But like I also wanted those people to be people who like when my life was upended and I was like, hey, like I don't really have the words right now, but I need somebody to like know how to communicate with me and like do something for me. And like that never came to fruition. And like the ending moment of that collective friendship was my bachelor party. I'd made like a couple small asks to each of them. Like I asked one of them to pick a restaurant and make a reservation. I asked one of them to take care of like booking a tea time for golf. You know, like very small things I asked one person each to take care of. None of those got done. The whole thing went off the rails. Like I tripped balls and wandered around New Orleans and ended up calling my wife at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a weird time. But like essentially what like struck me in that moment, well, it was like, again, I'm friends with a lot of women, right? I'm sure you've been to a few bachelorette parties. Like
Yes.
bachelorette parties damn near have an agenda, right? Like we're gonna show up at this time, we're doing this thing, this thing, this thing. So I'm like, cool, I've been to one bachelor party. It was the same group of guys. On that bachelor party, I was mocked relentlessly leading up to it for suggesting that we put together an itinerary, plan a day to get together and like go through a packing list, have a plan, whatever. And literally when we got to the airport, home from Miami on that bachelor party, the bachelor said, I had a really great time. I just wish we had like planned more, like done some of the things I'd really hoped to do there. So with that in mind, I thought when we went on my bachelor party, this same group of guys would like get the memo that at the very least, the guy they mocked for wanting to do it that way might want to do it that way. And everything from choosing the Airbnb versus the hotel and everything was with somebody else in mind. And all of them let me down brutally. Like my 3 closest friends let me down in person on my bachelor party. My brother canceled on me 3 weeks beforehand. My cousin, I don't even know if he ever got back. And he's sober. I was giving him a courtesy invite. I didn't expect him to come. No hard feelings there, Brian. You know what I mean? But like this is the penultimate moment of masculinity, right? Like I didn't win any sports championships. I didn't graduate law school or fucking build a house with my bare hands. This is my penultimate moment of masculinity. It's like until you have become a father, right? Like this is it. This is your bachelor party. Like your dudes are all going to get together. They're going to tell you like the things that make this friendship meaningful to them and why they're excited to be there for you at your wedding and how much they love your wife or tell some funny jokes or whatever. And none of that happened. I was just on a vacation with a whole bunch of other people that I'd mostly planned. On the plus side, I got all the hotel plans, so that was nice. Did pay for some of my honeymoon. But like, yeah, I guess like that summed up for me what the trappings of masculinity are about. It's like, it's gay to be organized, bro. It's fucking gay to ask your friends about like how they're doing, man. And it's like, there are ways we do that now. We've evolved, right? One of these friends, one of his favorite phrases was, nobody's safe, everybody eats. And what he would mean by that is like, again, we're a Northeast crowd. We're pretty relentless. We heckle each other. Nobody's safe, right? Everybody can catch these jokes, right? But everybody eats, right? Everybody's taken care of. One of us gets something, we all take care of each other, right? And I look back on our friendship and I'm like, who'd you feed? And like that's what like men have this idea in their head, like they're providers and protecting. I'm like, who are you protecting? What are you providing? And to who? Like certainly not to your male friends. Like maybe you protect some idea you have in your head about like the soft woman you have at home who needs your physical protection from the elements of the world or whatever. But as far as like providership, most women have higher degrees than men do now. Most women are making a lot of money now, especially at a place like New England. The ones who are married of that friend group, all of them are out-earned by their wife, as far as I know, myself included. That's not like a jab, you know what I mean? But just like, why are we all still been trapped by like, let's get together on football Sunday and 2 of you have pregnant wives? You can't tell me what it's like to like go through that? What'd you have to buy? When is she annoying? What's she craving? Did you need help building a crib or some new furniture? Like, nothing. And I was like, we aren't really friends. Like, you don't even treat me like men treat their male friends. Like, you don't, like, that's the kind of shit, like, this is what I mean. I got down to a point where, like, cool, male friendship is this low of a base level emotionally, but I at least want my male friends. Like I said, I want people to watch the game with. I want people to golf with. I want a buddy to go over and help build them the crib. You know what I mean? These are like the bare essentials of male friendship. And I wasn't even getting that. And so like in true douchebag Mitch fashion, wrote a fucking scathing 9-page email at the end of that trip and sent that to one of them, and then the other two got defensive over the third one because they were closer friends with him than with me, and so now we're all not friends anymore, and none of them came to my wedding. And that was like, to this day, one of the saddest, like, still probably one of the saddest memories of my life. But like, it taught me so much about, again, like what a trap masculinity can be. Because like, that had the loss of that friendship, credited by the 20 minutes I just spent talking about it, was very hurtful and very painful, but it did open up a lot of other spaces in my life for men. And now I have, close relationships with my brother and my cousin, both of whom are sober, which like talk about not part of traditional masculinity, right? Can't hold your alcohol, pussy. Well, no. Turns out I could hold my alcohol a little too well, and it ran my entire fucking life. So now we're sober, and drugs with some others and whatever. So like a lot of my male friends are sober, and a lot of my male friends actually build shit like men. Like my best friend probably right now who's a man is my friend Ben, and like he's a little foo-foo artsy guy like me who like grew up allergic to every food on the planet and in and out of hospitals and went to a private little art school on the North Shore. And you know what he does now? He's a fucking carpenter. And he just built a house for him and his wife in the backyard of his parents so he can be there to care for them as they age and go nuts. What's more manly than that? You feel cool because you go sell screws at Home Depot? Or golf clubs at the PGA Superstore or whatever? That makes you feel like a man? Okay.
Or what are your thoughts on helping younger men avoid the trap? What are the skills that you think men should focus on to avoid this trap? Or to at least recognize it's a trap and start to think differently?
Can I give you the first part of my answer, then ask you to re-ask me that question?
Yeah.
Part of what has really changed in the last like 5 or 6 years for me is I really used to think that like I've talked a lot about in this podcast, like I embody some level of masculinity that is easily identifiable as masculine, enough so that I could reach young men. I do not know that that is still true the older and less masculine I've become. And so because of that, one of the things that's been unlocked for me, again, partly by happenstance working in girl sports, I don't have that much interest in working with young men anymore to become better men, because I know what every shitty young man is driven by is what's cool to women. So I realized that if I can influence young women to desire better male behavior, then we can change a lot of young male behavior. Like, the most effective conversations I had as a hall monitor with young men were, I'm cool with so-and-so, right? Insert cute girl name here. She told me she don't fuck with niggas who do XYZ. That motherfucker got his grades up. That motherfucker stopped smoking weed. Like, the most effective way to change young men's behavior is changing the influences around them. And I had to realize I'm no longer one of those influences.
That's an interesting approach, because for me, that feels like a Band-Aid.
Oh, it's certainly, but that's what I mean. Like, I've aged out of my like direct influence ability, I think. Like, I don't know that, I'm sure like an older group of quote unquote young men, men in their late 20s or whatever find me as, someone in age appropriate influence. But like my ability to influence like 15-year-olds or whatever, right? It's like, whatever old head, whatever unk, you know what I mean? Like I'm one of them now. And so like, I got to find other entry points. That being said, I don't want to like abandon young men. And so like, part of that is finding new entry points. Now, like what I just gave you is the easiest entry point in the world, right? Yeah. You know what teenage boys are really into? Teenage girls. Shocking.
Where we share stories in the chat.
Look, It's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair, the chair, the chair. All right.
But beyond that, like, you got to find these other things, right? So, like, what's become useful as I get older? Becoming a credentialed person in basketball. And so I'll give a few other examples before I dive deep on that. But, like, when you're a younger man, right, it's enough to be a role model to like a 14, 15-year-old to simply exist and be a man. I have money in my pocket. I got broad shoulders. I'm 21. I'm allowed to buy alcohol. I don't live with my mom. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? But like, think about how old 35 sounds to someone who's 15. Their expectations of you are like your expectations of a retiree, right? So if you ain't got like millions in the bank, you don't drive a Bugatti yet, like they think you failed, right? And so like, I don't have that direct influence anymore. So I have to find things to influence that influence them. And so that has become a big part of my understanding. Like I've always been into and worked in and out of like media and communications, but like the way we talk to and about young people is such a problem. We infantilize young people up to such a crazy age. We like expect nothing of them. We hold nobody accountable because we got rid of violent discipline and replaced it with nothing. We have no method of accountability that's nonviolent. Nobody knows how to like sit a kid down and be like, here's why what you did was bad and you should feel bad and you should sit here and think about it and you should like reckon with that and do something about that.
Oh, so you're saying no one knows how to teach restorative justice practices properly?
Not here in the lily white Northeast, no. Yeah, exactly that. And so like, yeah, I think that's a big part of it is just like being willing to be the adult in the room sometimes when others won't challenge young men. It's like, being an advocate, coaching young women, a lot of my job, honestly, was like when the boys show up 10 minutes early to get, because their practice is next or whatever, boys are a lot louder and they take up a lot of space and we have a very small gym. So I got to use my big indoor man-ass voice and be like, hey, shut the fuck up. And like, that works. You know what I mean? And like, but like, that's my role as a 35-year-old man, not as like a 23-year-old man who like, the brother of our head coach is up there chuckling about with the boys in the stands, like being a good influence. You know what I mean? That's his role, not mine anymore. My role is to make sure he's all right. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't turn out to be a shithead. That's a weird dynamic to me, I guess, is like finding a way to be an influential older man because like I fancied myself somebody of influence, right? Like, I had my podcast. I wanted to go work on presidential campaigns. I've worked in media. I've worked at like startups that got sold for $500 million. Like I thought I was doing important shit. I think that's true of most young people. And then you get to middle age and you're like, hey, maybe what's important is like being in touch and with your community and being present and being grounded and all the shit we all know.
The chair.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Capture the Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show.
When you're a young person, you thought you're going to be that influential. And so now figuring out like young men are on a bad path. I didn't used to think that. Like, generally speaking, like 10 years ago, I thought young people had, and I still subscribe to the idea that young people are better than old people, always. Like, I'd rather give all the power to 15-year-olds than 85-year-olds, 100% of the time. But young people are on a much worse path now than they were 10 years ago. And, like, you can chalk that up to the Trump era. You can chalk that up to COVID. You can chalk that up to cell phones. You can chalk that up to white supremacy, patriarchy, whatever you want. But I know that I have to do something about that because I was one of those dangerous young men. Like, I could have been so awful. Like, it's easy to paint myself with like rose-colored glasses and like 20 years of therapy and change, man. Like, a lot of why I ended up in the justice system was like racism and bias. A lot of the other part though was poor decision making and action. And so part of that is just like somebody had to step into my life and like be a good therapist and a good mentor.
And you said when you were in residential and you realized like this isn't for me.
I probably realized that the first night I was there. But
like this isn't for me. I've worked with kids in residential. I've worked with all types of kids, and the kids who have gone through residential, kids who are in the foster care system, kids who are forgotten. Some of them have that moment where they've made a decision, and then some of them want somebody to make the decision for them. So you making that internal decision, and then what people would consider success, going to college, moving, and changing.
I guess that's a very important point. Is like I didn't. I did not make some internal switch. I was not some strong person. A lot of people took up for me that really didn't for other people in my circumstances. And to be very clear, like that starts with my mother. My mother is a social worker. So like when I hit the juvenile justice system, my mom knows not all the strength, but like she's connected, right? Like she found, when I got assigned to public defender, like she went and found a guy who did public defender work pro bono, but handled these kind of cases like through his private law firm, and had him take my case pro bono instead of my original public attorney. Did that probably influence like literally the rest of my life? Yes. And so it's like, she looked out. Did I have a great strong backbone and just like will myself and represent myself well in court? No, I was a fucking disaster. You know what I mean? But I had a great lawyer. And then like when I got into different programs or whatever, like I was lucky with like some of the therapists I got and some of the group leaders I worked with and like some of the mentorship programs that came in. Like there was a program, I met a dude, he was like a leader at Stop and Shop or whatever. He came in as like a mentor and we reconnected like 10 years later. But it's crazy to hear him talk about like some of the other kids he mentored and just how they didn't pan out. And a lot of that is just like, yeah, they might have had a mentor, but like they didn't have a mom taking up for them. They didn't have a good lawyer. Like they got placed with the third psychiatrist on the unit, and I got placed with the first, and the first was way better. You know what I mean? Like all this different shit that was just like happenstance, right? So like I had a lot of people like step in and save my motherfucking life, like many times over. You know what I mean? And like I don't know what I have of value per se in like a capitalist ecosystem as like a professional. I know that there's a lot of kids like me who need saving though. And maybe one of them got some shit that's worth doing as a professional. I don't know. But like, I know that there's a huge, like you said, forgotten population of kids who just nobody takes up for. And so like, I am luckily middle class and college educated and a quote unquote success story of those circumstances. I'm not put off by those kids in any form or fashion. If anything, like I'm encouraged and excited by them. And so like, of course I want to do everything in my power to like take up for kids like that. And like the shame of it is like, I've never been able to do that for money for more than like 12 months in a row. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no room for you to be a good person working with kids. There's systems and there's policies and we got to adhere to this and we got to turn this kid into this. And you know, if he doesn't turn into this, then we did a bad job, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like stuff you have to do. And I get it and you should. And like, I'm not trying to say anyone shouldn't do their jobs, but it's like, I don't have to. My wife makes good money. I make good money in other parts of my life, whatever. I just, you know, when I encounter a kid in that circumstance, when my time there is done, we're going to stay in touch. I'm going to help you be a better person. You might not go to college. I don't know. You don't have to go to college to be a good person. Let's go to community college. Let's get you in a job career. Let's go to Urban League up the road here in Roxbury. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of shit we can do. And I don't care if no one else believes in you. I believe in you. Why? Because I decided to. That's all it's a fucking choice, man. You decide to believe in people. This is one of the things I experienced, like, coming from not a family full of addicts. I don't want to paint my family that way, but a family close to addiction. Is like, a lot of people just have, like, these firm beliefs about addicts, right? Like, once an addict, always an addict. You're always in recovery. Addicts and alcoholics are always liars. You can't believe what they're going to. And it's just like, or you could just choose not to believe that, right? It's like, I don't know, man. I know a lot of people who have, they're in recovery because that's what you have to say, but they've recovered. Like, they haven't done drugs in 27 years. They're 48 years old. Like, they've recovered. They've not done drugs longer than they were alive prior to doing drugs. I think you're good. You know what I mean? And it's like, can we trust that person's not a liar? And it's like, greater society has decided no. But you know who will trust that person? An addict who's really sincere about trying to get clean right now and needs somebody to believe in them. So, like, the world might not believe you, but you can at least turn around and believe somebody else. And that's how, especially with kids, I can't fathom how easily adults give up on children. We all agree when somebody in our life does something terrible, right? Pick an age, depending on what culture you're from. Oh, they're just a misguided kid. They need some time to turn it around. They just need some help. And depending on where you're from and what part of the world, that age might be 13, that age might be 30. But somewhere in that, you become an adult. Why do we judge anyone before that age as though they should, quote unquote, know better? Like, if you've got a 25-year-old cousin that you're like, oh, he just needs some time to turn his life around when he gets his second DUI or whatever, right? And that's fine by you. But you would look at a 13-year-old and be like, oh, they're just never going to get math. This school isn't the right place for them. They have no place on this lacrosse team. They won't work hard enough. They're not a hard worker. What the fuck does that mean about a 14-year-old? That's the thing you teach a 14-year-old to be, is a hardworking person. Like, that's on you as an adult. And, like, I just seeing it up close, like, my wife, as you know, is a teacher of 12 years, very good teacher, very, like, solid policy-following, rule-following teacher. And it's just like, there are so many of these kids that I watch cross her path that she literally, like, if she can't do anything about, right? Like, she can't intervene in her position. And so it's just like, then who does? And then I went and worked at the same school as her for a bit, and it's like, well, the school counselor has limitations. The crisis counselor has limitations. The third-party counselors that we bring in through some other funding grant program, they have limitations. The assistant principal has limitations. The principal has limitations. So who's going to, like, actually go do something? No one? Like, we're all just going to watch this kid fail in front of us. No, this kid shows up dirty and sleepy and hungry, but it's not bad enough to call the people yet. Or we called the people and they didn't do what we thought was the right thing. So nobody's going to do anything. Because if we give them a blanket, that's against policy. Or if we offer them to stay with our cousin's nephew or whatever who's got an apartment in town, that's against policy. It's like, who's going to do something? And, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where my life is headed right now. I feel very wayward. But I know that, like, when I do something nowadays, like, it feels right and it feels good and I can articulate and defend it. Like, I feel righteous about what I do almost all of the time now. And that feels much better than trying to, like, define what I am by, like, a job title or a gender role or a set of hobbies. Like, I am somebody who lives a life that is fulfilling every time he steps out of his house. Now, I'm working on getting out of the house more because I will admit, when I'm home, I'm a very depressed indoor cat. I want to play video games, smoke weed, and sleep. You know what I mean? I'm not doing shit. Recharge mode. But when I leave those doors, man, like, it's to go, as I jokingly say to people all the time, I've worked for a lot of bad companies. I've had a lot of jobs. The only thing I know I'm a professional at in life is being good company. That's what I do well. I show up and I'm good company. Good company means something different to all sorts of people. So you have to be pretty adaptable, hence the worldview of the articulation. But, like, you got to be able to eat all the different cultural foods and drink all the different types of liquor and non-alcoholic drinks and coffee drinks. And you got to be willing to travel to places that might make you feel uncomfortable and sleep in beds that are not your style, because, like, that's what being good company is being a good guest and having something to share and offer while you're there. And if you're not willing to be good company, then what place do you have in society? Like, what is your value? You created a job? You created some wealth? Cool. What did that do? Were you good to people? And that's, I guess, like, that's my ultimate line on most things. Is like, I just want to, as the cliche goes, I want to be the adult that I deserved when I was younger. And I'm lucky that I had a lot of pretty good adults, but I never quite had the adult I deserved. I had adults who saved my life. I had adults who got their resources together and looked out for me. But I didn't have an adult who just let me be me in the way in which I deserved. And I want to make sure that as many people as possible have an adult like that in their life.
Mitch, thank you so much for sitting in the chair and sharing your stories. I truly
I feel like we
truly
barely talked
appreciate
about hair. Jesus.
it.
Very tangential notes on locks and braids and whatever. See my wedding photos for more details.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. This was excellent. This is the most fun I've had on podcasts and probably ever. So come back anytime.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I'm going to share with you a dream of mine. I would love to be on Sesame Street. Sesame Street held my hand through childhood. In my dream, I would be in my big afro or rainbow braids sitting on the stoop sharing hair stories. I would like your help, please, by doing all the things like leave a review, share it with someone who would benefit from hearing this episode. And if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone at Sesame Street, share your favorite episode with them, and I'll make you some of my famous chocolatey hot chocolate. I hope you have a beautiful day, or if you are like me, still up in the middle of the night, I hope you take a deep breath and rest. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Dream, hello. I just wanted to tell you you're wonderful. I just got through going through your podcast. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Keep it up. Maybe I need to send it to Oprah and Tyler Perry. Love you, baby. You are great.
Where we share stories in the chair.